we're gonna move on to the hammers next. At the same time I paint the hammer heads, I'm also going to paint the little spigot here that's on her cask, as well as the metal bars that go around it. And I'm going to do this medallion on her belt at the same time as well. So we're going to start on the hammer. I'm going to base everything with this graphene gray by Scale Color. All right, so I'm going to start working on lightning. I'm going to take brown gray as my next layer. And I'm going to make this a little thinner than I normally make my first layer. I'm going to use almost more of a glazing technique to lighten. I like this gray because it's a warmer gray. It's got some brown in it. So for this hammer, the light is going to hit it down here at the bottom, more so than the top. So I'm going to be pulling my brush towards the bottom of the hammer. And so what you should see happening as I'm doing this is you should see a nice, fairly subtle transition happening. It's not nearly as stark. If you look at the two colors on the palette that we were working with, they're fairly far apart in value. But on the hammerhead itself, you don't really see that. So we're getting a nice, soft transition from the darker part to the lighter part. All right, so I'm moving my brush in the opposite direction now because we're shading. I'm going to start off by actually going over a little bit of the area where the other two colors are, just on the first pass to help smooth everything. But again, we're still pulling pigment. The darker color is still going to congregate down in the shadows. So I'm getting pretty close to being happy with where this is at for the moment before I do a little color glazing in. I'm going to go back to my base coat for a minute, only because I'm not super happy about a couple of the midtones on some of these faces where I can see the transition too much. So I'm just going to put a little glaze in the midtone back over everything. All right, this is where we get to have fun. I'm going to take Mars Orange, so slightly brownish orange. I'm going to make a glaze of it. And we're going to glaze this into the shadow areas. Doesn't hurt that this is, it's not the exact same color, but it's an orange, which we've added a little bit of orange leather into our leather color. We have orange in our tartan. So having a touch of orange on these hammers is visually going to create a little bit of continuity in the model. And like a lot of this, what you want to do is you want to stop before it gets like, look, there's orange on that hammer, if that makes sense. As you do this, you don't have to make the edge solid all the way across. Like I'm kind of hitting the edge, but it's okay if it breaks apart a little bit. Again, it indicates that there's, this isn't a machined piece of steel or something. It's a natural product. It's got some imperfections. Yeah, so I'm just going to do two edges on the crack. So I'm doing a light edge. So I'm just still using that same edge highlight color. And on the same side as where the lighter part of the hammer is, so on the bottom on this case, I'm just hitting that with the bottom edge of the cracks essentially with this edge highlight color. And I don't have to outline every little bit of the crack, but so this is kind of where the light is hitting one edge of the crack, and we're going to put a dark line on the other side to really sell the 3D nature of the cracks. You can do this in either order, by the way. You can do the dark line first. I just was working with the lighter color, so I just did the light color first.